my van. Yeah.
Okay, we are live right this moment. Oh, there is. That's great. Hi, everybody. Royce Eddings here. Royce in the House live podcast, and next to
I'm
me,
back. I'm back.
Dan McNew of Just the Facts and Ask a Dan. He's got some great shows. If you guys should check those out. And below us is Lou Mars, and Lou Mars is going to be the subject of our show tonight. Multi-instrumentalist. He's nominated for a Grammy Award. He's had all kinds of bands. He was getting ready to do what 132 tour stops.
I got canceled.
So, anyway,
it looked good on paper. Yeah,
we're gonna get an interview here with Lou and find out more about what he's done and what he's going to be doing. And he's got a lot of talent. Writer, singer, guitar player, award-winning drummer. And I just wanted to ask you just to get started, Lou. How did you get started in music? I mean, did you start playing as a little kid, or?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a stop, start because I was given a drum set at 4.5, 5 years old by an uncle who played drums. Yeah, and I was very ADD before ADD was an acronym. And so I decided to take the drum set and a pencil that I had, and I sat there and I poked holes in the drum set all the way around it. I decided the pencil point was more interesting, and the drum set was taken away. So that was the first round. Second round, then my sister, who always got everything she wanted, not that I'm over it now. I'm over it now.
Well, yeah,
but she wanted to play piano. I didn't give a shit about the piano. Next thing you know, I'm in the Philippines with a piano teacher that's like strict as hell. God, she's doing this shit, and I'm thinking I'm going to play the Beatles. You know, they said, well, you're going to play piano. I'm like, oh, cool. I want to play like Yesterday. And, you know, I'm this little kid, but that's what was playing in the house. Yeah. And instead I had this Gestapo teacher that she would hit your knuckles with this pencil when you missed stuff. And I'm playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. So I just wanted to kill myself. So I did that for 2 years. It took me about almost 20 years to get over that, to get back to the piano and love it again. Just it goes to show you people, if you are taking lessons and you hate an instrument, look at the instructor sometimes. And I will include myself on that. Change instructors before you change instruments. Sometimes it's the instructor. It's a bad match. I can say that because I am one. And then change instruments. You know, I had kids that were beating the shit out of their guitar, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're a drummer. And he's like, no, Dad wants me to play guitar. Well, then tell Dad to get lessons. Right?
You know, my father could play the guitar. You know,
did he?
He didn't play often. He had an old silver tone guitar, you know, that had tons and tons of fret buzz, you know.
Well,
but
you know,
he'd start playing some country songs, and he had rhythm, let me tell you. And so me and my brother decided we wanted to play. And bought guitars and amps from a couple of my buddies who gave up. A lot of people were starting and giving up. It was like the British invasion, you know, everybody wanted to be in a band. And so we took lessons for a little while, and me and my brother and my friend across the street, we all took them at the same time. We all quit at the same time. And, you know, a year or so went by. My younger brother went back, and he never quit. And he wound up being pretty well known around the Vegas scene as a great guitar player. Played in a lot of bands. Wayne Newton offered him a job, but him and his wife had such a great duo. They were getting written up by Forrest Duke, who was writing up all the big acts in Vegas, calling them the Eddings duo, a must-see duo, you know. So he didn't want to split that up to go play for Wayne Newton. So he, you know, they told him, hey, listen, maybe we can get her in later as a backup singer, but we don't need one right now. So he didn't do that, but he was in some great bands. He's a very talented guy. And his son followed in his footsteps. His son was a bass player, but he also plays acoustic guitar and other things too. And he came on a country show that I did, and him and his wife did a couple of live, sung a couple of songs live, and he played the guitar.
That was awesome.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, with mine,
my problem is I just don't stick with it. I'll study. I mean, I'll try real hard for 9 months. And I blink and 2 years have gone by and I haven't touched it, you know, and it's been like, I've been dealing with that like my whole life, you know. So anyway, enough about me. I want to hear about Lou Mars.
Well, I was hearing a clicking sound, so I had to switch. There's like a click, click, click going on. So I thought it was my headset, but I'm going to put it back in. So here's the thing. First off, I got to address something you just like brought up there. So what's interesting is there's two things you brought up that as a teacher, in which I never wanted to be, by the way. Oh, hold on. I'll be.
Oh, uh-oh.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure,
Sorry,
we
guys.
I'm
I'm manipulating. I heard this clicking sound was driving me nuts while you were talking. Click, click, click. The beauty of iPod and iPad and podcast. So, can you hear me? Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. What's interesting about a lot of musicians, at least like myself, the ones that go on. You talked about the ones that quit. The ones that went on, like me, that never stopped. A lot of times, what we have in common is that the music skipped a generation. So, for example, my parents, neither of them played at all. Okay. However, there were clearly musicians. I mean, it's hard to find a family where there isn't a musician somewhere in the family. Come on, somewhere, right? But it will many times skip a generation. Why that's important to know and to state is that if you are somebody out there that thinks you're not going to be able to play because your parents can't play, that it's not in your blood, you're wrong. It actually probably is even more so. So if your parents aren't playing, a lot of times parents that have a really deep love, my parents loved music. There was music constantly going in the room. Back then it was reel to reels. My dad had a reel to reel and he'd make a great tape. And that inspired me. And so a lot of the music I play today is because of that. But to get back to your original question, the reason why I started really comes down, and what's really bizarre, the reason I'm a championship drummer is because of a trumpet player. And that may sound strange, but I saw Herb Alpert when I was a kid, and he was wearing these mirror reflector glasses, and he was playing this tune, and I couldn't get my eyes off him. I thought that was the coolest damn thing I'd ever seen. He was up there. He was so in control of the stage. It was badassery at its finest. It's before I saw the Beatles and the other bands like that, you know, and Elvis. But I saw him play, and I went to school the next day. And this is back when they still had music in the schools, unlike it is today. It was a little different. And I said, hey, I want to play trumpet. And they go, we're all out of trumpets. And I'm like, oh, shoot. We're all out of trumpets. Right, they did. They said they had all the trumpet players. So I said, well, what do you got? And they're like, well, we got drums. So I'm picturing this drum set. I'm like, well, that'd be cool. They go, I'll say, well, I'll play the snare drum then, right? Or, you know, I didn't know the name of it. I'll play that drum. I'll play a drum set. And they go, no. I said, well, the one, the snare, right? No. All we got is a bass drum. I'm like, what? So that's how I started. It was on a bass drum. And the first song I ever played was Hava Nagila. And I'm not Jewish. It was all boom, 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 boom. But I beat the shit out of the drum. I'm like, I got into it. But, you know, that was at age 10, 11. And by age 13, I was competing in jazz in Reno international festivals. I caught the bug. Yes. I finished second place in the international Reno Jazz International Festival, played in that big theater that's underground when I was 13. Wow. And I did my first drum solo in front of a big crowd there, which got us tied for second. So right off the bat, and it was due to a music teacher. I just bashed a music teacher for trashing the piano, but now I'm going to go the other way. There was a guy named George Dutra. My family was a mess. They were breaking up. There was arguing going in the house. It was a disaster. It was painful to be there. So the music was, and my room was underneath my parents. I could hear them fighting. It was horrific. But I had a drum set in my room. So I would go on the drum set and I would play so I didn't have to hear them argue. And it became my escape. And this band called The Ventures came out, and they had this song Wipeout. And I thought, wow, it was so amazing. So I went to the library, and back then they had records at the library. And one side of this record I found had the song Wipeout by The Ventures version, not the Safaris, without the drums. And the other side had it with the drums. It was a record to teach you how to play. So the very first song I ever played was self-taught, was Wipeout. I sat there and played the shit out of that album over and over in my room just to get out of my house, literally in my room, to escape. And so to this day, one of the big solos I did during the first world record was Wipeout. During day 4, almost day 5, after playing 4 days straight, I played Wipeout. That's insane if you think about, you know, the energy of that song. That's like pulling out a jump rope and going about as fast as you possibly can if you've been awake for 4 days, and already jump rope for 4 days, by the way. So, but that's how I was able to do it. I'd done it so many times, it was on autopilot. Wow. But that's how I started. That's how I got rolling. The drums came auto to me. The guitar came in the high school because I wanted to write music. piano helped on that, and yada yada. The rest is history. It just took off. I was like a varsity player. I was the first at Bret Hart Junior High in Hayward. I was the first musician to ever letter. They actually had a glass case of all the trophies for football players. I have a picture this day. I'm with the principal holding a letter because I was awarded so much. They put me in the glass case like a football player. And so Hayward High also did the same thing. Yeah, but here's what's interesting. So back then, and this is a lesson for today. Back then, it didn't matter what age you were to be number one. What I mean by that, so you could be a freshman in high school, and if you thought you were more badass than that senior, you could say challenge. And they called it chairs. Yeah, you remember this, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
And so you could go after them, and they would have to defend their spot, and you could take it away. And I did. I was a freshman taking out the seniors. And I tell young guys this today, it's not about age, but they flipped it. By the time I went down to Canyon del Oro in Arizona, they were like, I said, hey, I want to try out for lead drummer and jazz band. They're like, you can't do that. I said, why not? You're too young. I said, what? You don't go by talent. You go by age. Yes, we want our seniors to have a chance to play. Wow.
Right.
That's today, my friends. That's today. That's the environment of everybody gets a trophy. And that is why we got a lot of old people playing right now, because that's my theory. We rewarded mediocrity, and guys like us back in the day, we had to scrap and fight to play. And that's why we're still on stage, because there's a 17-year-old in the corner waiting to take my job. God bless you. Good luck. I'm going to play the shit out of the stage tonight at age 60. And, take these sticks out of my hand, bastard. But at the same time, I want to inspire him, because we need him. We need him for the future.
Right.
Anyway, so that's that. That was a long answer to that bit. Let me grab this. Is this the most girlyish beer you've ever seen? Look at this can. I don't want to do an ad for this company, so I'm not going to give the full label, but look at this tall, skinny can. It's someone handed me this. It's an M, starts with an M. And I'm like, is that a beer? Not like a wine spritzer? No, it's a beer. This is what they're doing. Even our beer cans are getting feminine. You have to have lipstick when you drink from this one.
You was talking about the way the school districts are now, and how they teach their music. Well, a lot of them, these underfunded schools, don't teach music at all. And that was something that we saw when I was with Ride for Dime. And that's one of the charities we gave to, was Little Kids Rock. And with Dave Wish, he runs Little Kids Rock. And we donated one year, we donated $10,000. And we were privileged enough to, through Little Kids Rock, get these guitars shipped to Dallas. And we went to me and the vice president of Ride for Dime, we went to different schools handing out guitars, just for there was criteria with it, but we gave out over 200 guitars in one day.
That's my first world record event was all about that too. I chose Fender. Fender was one of my sponsors. So and Cayman Music, who basically owns everything, Latin percussion. They did Dixon, Yamaha. The revenue from that went to Little Kids Rock.
Oh, good.
The second one went in Portugal because Carlos Santos set that one up, and I agreed, and we all agreed. The money for that went to the war-torn country. I'm trying to remember. It starts with a Y. That was in war at the time, Serbia, I think, where the kids were displaced, and we put the money to help them get out of the homes and so forth. A different situation. They didn't need instruments; they needed an escape in that situation. But I'm a big advocate, Dan, of not just for the Little Kids Rock. One of the complaints I got for giving the money to Little Kid Rock, people are never happy. Like, the people were like, yeah, but it didn't go to the local area. So I have an answer for that, because I go around to the schools and I do perform and I do talk at schools all the time. It was something I didn't want to do because I didn't believe in that stuff. I just wasn't interested. But after I saw the effect it had, I believe in it now, because a lot of the schools you were just talking about, Dan, in my opinion, they include sports still. And a lot of these kids don't give a shit about playing football, baseball, or soccer. Yeah. So we took out something that Einstein even said, that one of the smartest men in our history said about musical instruments being one of the few things that uses both sides of your brain. We decided to discard that, and we put in something physical that only a small group can do, specifically on each one that are good at it. It blows me away. It should have been the other way around. It should have been that music should have stayed. And then if you wanted to do a sport, or sports should have been private outside, pay to go do sports, like Pop Warner.
Right.
Pop Warner was a private organization anyways. What are we doing? This is ridiculous.
And one of the things too, why it's so important to get kids involved in music is because, like you said, you use both sides of your brain. And it's a proven fact. When kids learn a musical instrument, their grades improve as well, because I forgot exactly how to say it, but they're so focused on music, and because it's a very disciplined thing. So if you're disciplined in the music, it kind of rubs off to your other subjects as well. And it's been proven that all the grades come up. So
it's a fact. No, that's a fact, Dan. And not only is it a fact if you perform music that your IQ improves, that's a fact. They've shown it scientifically. But in addition, they have shown that even if you listen, and I don't care if you don't like classical music, but I'm sorry, it's been proven. If you listen to classical music in the background while you study, there's a 10% increase in your study capability. Yeah. They don't know why. It just is. But here's a bigger thing. Wow. We have this autistic kid issue. Autism, they call it. I call it artism. I think if Jimi Hendrix had been around today, they would have put him on Focalin and he would have been a zombie. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need this drug for a lot of kids to help them out. A lot of them are extreme. But I have personally been in a doctor's office. Within 1 hour, a child has been prescribed a drug for the rest of their life in 1 hour and called autistic based on an acronym out of a book in 1 hour. Hey, they don't like school. They have attention disorder. Well, actually, school sucks. That's why you have attention disorder. I was one of them. I was back there bored to hell because I knew everything already. But the drums was my thing, man. You gave me the drums. It calmed me down. So it made me think. Like you said, Dan, I couldn't do anything but think when I was on the drum kit. Mm-hmm. And when I heard music, I went to a different place. It's very important for these people. Artists, we're different than other people. They took a picture of our brains. Well, they're not normal. No. You're not normal. We have a different brain than you. Stop saying we're not normal. We're different. You guys come to our concerts, you listen to us free in the damn supermarket, and then you try to drug everybody and pull the music programs out. That's ridiculous. We need to change that thinking. We need to go after this. The reason that music is lacking today, in my opinion, so much, is because we have taken away the number of musicians that we have been teaching right now. There's a lack of musicians. There's a lack of new stuff. And then the few that we have are like, oh, be a DJ. Wait a minute. That's production. That's not a musician. When I saw a DJ on the front of Rolling Stone magazine, I swallowed my own puke. I swallowed my own puke because that wasn't a musician. That was a producer. When you are mixing other people's music, I don't care what you say, you're production. You're not a DJ. You're production. Play the damn instrument, then call yourself a musician. That's different. And that's what belongs on the front of Rolling Stone. And that's what we need more of. There, I got off my soapbox, but that's what it's necessary.
I hear you.
I think my parents, I think my parents understood how important music was because neither of them sang or played instruments, anything. But I've got 5 brothers and sisters, so there were 6 of us. And every year, when we got old enough to be part of I don't care if it was the church band or church choir, we all got involved in it. We all 6 of us learned different instruments. And we stuck.
That's brilliant.
And I did it for 7 years, then I went in the military and kind of lost after that. But I still regained some of the knowledge of the music itself. I could look at a sheet music and I can understand the music by looking at it, which is a talent I think is pretty cool. Because a lot of people that look at sheet music,
sight reading,
they see nothing. Sight reading is very important.
Sight reading is incredibly important. What I teach backwards when I do teach, we got into this teaching thing, and I'll jump out in a minute, but it's important what we're talking about. It's really important. Yeah. So I'm going to stick there for a second because this is actually, in my opinion, critically important right now. What you're talking about, Dan. Here's the I'm going to get pissed so many people off of this again, but here's what teachers are doing wrong in music right now. But you know what? It's true. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm being authentic on this. We try to teach kids how to read music, and then we teach them how to play. We got it backwards. Teach them how to play and then show them the music of what they just played. They want to play. They want to hear the music. They want to make sounds out of their head, out of the instrument. But what do? We take a chicken scratch piece and go, okay, that's F-A-C-E, face, E-A, every good boy. And we're like going, what the fuck is this shit? I wanted to play some music. That's the truth. And then we quit. And they go, why didn't Johnny stick with it? Because it sucked. you didn't let me play music. You gave me some arithmetic shit and black dots on a page. Now, if you go the other way around, you're like, hey, Joey, who's bouncing off the walls, this is how a basic rock beat is done. You know that We Will Rock song that you love by Queen? Boom, boom, bop. Those are 2 flams on the top. Boom, boom, got, boom. And he's hitting it and you're playing the music along with it. He's getting excited. He's getting jazzed. And you go, now look, this is what you just played. That's what it looks like. That's a totally different game. You know,
I agree,
and that's the way.
Lou, I agree with what you just said 100%. Every time I started, it was book 1, lesson 1. You know, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And here's the note to it.
Right?
And it got old really quick.
Now I'm going to go after.
You know, when I was in 6th grade, that's how they taught us. You know, I played the trumpet, and
you bastard.
Well, you know,
you're the one.
Well, I
got the last one.
Well, I originally wanted the trombone, but I was a little guy, and they said my arm wouldn't reach. So
they had a sign. You didn't reach the sign to play the trombone.
But the same, you know, when they start teaching us how to play the trumpet, like you said, it was very boring. Although we were actually doing both at the same time. They would show us the sheet music and say, "This is a G, this is a G." Right. Then we would learn how to make the G come from our lips, you know, through the trumpet, you know, and the finger and all that. And then the next day we'd learn the next note, you know. Then pretty soon we put the 2 notes together. It was a slow process, but after, you know, I think after a year I knew it pretty well. Just after 1 year.
See, you can. I when I pick up kids, I'm like, I got them playing songs within the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I had a parent once complain. They're like, they're not learning how to read music with you. They're only playing the songs. And I said, will you repeat that?
Yeah.
wait, what is the objective of playing music? You just complain that they're only playing songs and don't know how to. Oh, Jesus. You know, there's part of the problem right there, right?
Right.
So, hey, I want to talk about this real quick because I saw this last night and it's fresh in my mind and it's bothering me a little bit, other than what we just talked about. I just saw the movie Elvis. I don't know if you guys saw this yet. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I've been hearing some reviews about it.
It's good and bad. You know, everyone lately is like, oh my God, everything's great. Top Gun, oh my God. Oh, Jesus, it was a regular flick. It was entertaining, but it wasn't like everybody said. Come on, people. It's the same old story rehashed 50 times. But Elvis was an interesting angle, and the first half of the movie was very interesting. It got a little slow toward the end. But I want to talk about aging rock stars a little bit right now because it's a big topic right now. There's a lot of them out there. And I recently had a conversation. One of these ladies, she might even be, I'm not looking at the chat room. She might even be watching right now. And so if I say this, don't be insulted, Mrs., when you hear me say this right now, if you're in the chat room. But this lady was talking about a musician she knew and was washed. You know, if he didn't make it by 30, he was washed up. You know, that used to be right. And they were talking about Elvis that way, you know, which is part of his depression. He dies at 42, right? That's not a mystery to that story. But here's why I want to bring it up. This is what I told her, and that I want to put out there to people. You older, more mature musicians out there, you're never washed up. I read an article about myself in my 30s that I was washed up and I was done. And I believed it too. And I thought the same thing. Well, I'm done. And so I did. I quit. I quit for 6 years. It's the longest period and only period I quit in my career. But here's the thing. From 2008 to within 2000, I'm going to go all the way to the Portugal world record, which was 2017. That's not that long ago. That 10-year period, give or take, you know, that decade, what I accomplished more in that decade in my late 40s and early 50s than my entire 30-year prior career. So you never are done. You never are done. You don't know what's around the corner. All that, the 2 world record things, the Grammy nod, the reality show, being on with Moody Scott, who is the big top dog with Motown back in the day, playing his show, being in his documentary, all kinds of shit that people even know I've been in, let alone those are the highlight reel you've heard about, all happened in my late 40s and early 50s. Okay. And even now, yes. So what's that tell you? Don't give up. That shit that people tell you that don't give up, it's actually true. Don't give up. Keep playing. Last week we talked with a great guy, George, and you know what? He stuck to his guns when other people quit, and he did. You know, a lot of people, their idea of success is, well, did you get a top 100 song on Billboard? Oh, is that the only way you met? Or were you in Journey? You know, oh, really? That's the only way you can be successful in your mind in music. How about a 40+ year paid career touring the US, going different places around the world, all expenses paid because I play. And I've done what I love my whole life. That is success, folks. That is, absolutely. You could be in the studio, you could be the sound guy. Yes, it drives me nuts. George, who was here last week, successful. He doesn't have a #1 on the top Billboard, but he is successful. His stories and what he saw and got to experience, priceless.
Yeah. Because
he could play that damn guitar. That's how he got it. Right. So if you're like, oh, starving artist, it'll never happen, give that up. Really? Did you hear that guy's experiences? Have you seen mine? I've seen some shit, man. I've seen some stages that were badass, and I wouldn't give it up for the world. So take that. Anyways, enough of that. Next question. I'm going to interview myself now. Since I'm a co-host, I'm going to ask myself, so Lou, why'd you walk off stage in Oakland in 2015? How did I know that was coming, Dad? I was ready. That's a real drummer right there. That's right. And by the way, my name's not on my thing for some reason, is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm down below. Yeah. Okay, I went off screen. Yeah. I want to tell people, first off, I want to introduce the people above me, because a lot of people are asking me after last week. We had a nice little rush last week. There are people like going, Lou, who's Royce? And who's Dan? And so I want to tell people right now that are watching, because I got a lot of these questions about the other people that are as important on this weekly podcast. Dan, up above me right here. Oh, is Michael going to come on? No Led Zeppelin allowed.
No, I sent the link out a couple of times, Michael. You're more than welcome to jump on.
Yeah, bring Mr. Led Zeppelin on. Dan, I'll tell him a Led Zeppelin story. So Dan, first off, is a promoter for several bands. He's connected with a lot of events with Dimebag. Daryl, if you don't know who that is, you need to look that shit up. He also was with the band Aska last week, and he brought George on because of him. And he's in Texas. He's you check his shit out. They know him in Texas. And then Royce in the house up here. These the other way. I can't get my camera right. Royce is an avid music lover. You can see his guitars in the background. This is his brainchild that you're watching right now. He made this happen. And his passion with music exudes through these events. Big Hendrix fan, big Zeppelin fan. I'm starting to try to get him to learn about these new bands. I'm working on him. He's working on it. He's getting there. Yeah, but that's this is his show, and we're kind of going along for the ride. So I just wanted to throw that in. Thank you guys.
It takes all of us. It takes all of us.
It really does. And I got
the village.
Yeah, and my book at lumarsbooks.com, folks, by the way, because of these two guys above me, has accelerated lately. And so you might think, yeah, and people are like, well, you might think there's only 20 or 30 people in the room right now. There might be, but there's actually 1,000 watching. You see, when they don't sign in, you can't see them. Right. So I was shocked at how many people last week said, hey, I was watching. And I said, well, I didn't see you. They don't sign in. So there's this ghost crowd that follows us right now. I'm here to tell you, and they're big. And they follow and watch us.
Lou, you're absolutely right. The other day I looked at my analytics on the last show, and for every subscriber that watched the show, there were 3 people that weren't subscribers that were just anonymous.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then they come back and watch it again, and it's crazy stuff. One thing I want to throw out. I don't have my thing here, so I can't see the chat. I'm in this weird window. Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna throw some out to the chat. If anyone in the chat, if anyone is alive out there and wants to ask me any question right now, I will answer it.
Put them up. I'll pull them on the screen so everybody can see the question.
All right,
and then I did see a question earlier.
What is it? I can't get back to my thing.
I think they were asking you who was your inspiration when you were learning all this. Who did you?
Oh,
let me see if I can find.
All right. I'm trying to get back to my screen. I've got this weird screen setup, right? Ever since I went off and back on, it's like now I can't get back to my screen, but I'll figure it out. Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm back. Who was my inspiration?
Yeah, that was Daddy Boggs said, who was your influence?
Daddy Boggs.
Who was your influence when you got older?
All right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to throw this out real quick because we've only got we're limiting this to an hour. So you got 30 minutes, and I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I have a rap sheet. So when I go on the radio, and I do a lot of radio interviews, I slide this rap sheet across the table. You know what the rap sheet is? It's what you can't ask me. So I'm giving you guys 30 minutes, and I'm not putting a rap sheet. You can ask me anything, and get this. I will answer it honestly right now. That's rare. I never do that because I don't like to talk about shit. So you got that opportunity right now on this show to do it. If you don't do it, God bless you. I don't have to answer it. All right, so here we go. The first one. Who inspires me right now? I'm really inspired right now by two acts. You're not going to be, it's not a particular musician. The Radiohead In Rainbows album blew me away personally. That particular album by Radiohead, I wear the shit out of it. The mathematical musicianship in that, the drumming, which sounds like a drum machine, but it isn't. I just saw that. Who the hell is Led Zeppelin? Fucking Michael. Michael, I love you. By the way, Michael, John Bonham, without a doubt, was always and still is my favorite drummer. I'm not just saying that because you're in the room. Mm-hmm. I've never seen, other than Denny Cromassi, who's another great drummer, favorite of mine, but I've never been in a stadium other than Montrose where the entire crowd air drummed with the drummer the second he hit a drum beat. That is powerful shit. When John Bonham started Levee Breaks, oh my God, boom, that everybody, you look, this entire Oakland Stadium, that is amazing stuff right there. But back to right now, Radiohead.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm listening. Right on, Mike. Oh, get well soon, buddy.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Radiohead's. If you watch the In Basement tapes, they did a basement tape on YouTube for free. The entire show. You can watch that drummer play those chops. I'm listening to a lot of 07. You guys can call me a pussy for that, but go right ahead. And Sia was in the original 07. But here's why I'm listening to 07. Listen to the vocals. The vocals in that, they just sound like the ocean. And so on my singing and songwriting, I am more an alternative act. I don't play hard like my drumming. When it's drumming, I like to play Hendrix. I like power trios. I like funk. But when I'm playing guitar, I like Bowie. I like even like some of the 80s stuff. Like a lot of people say I sound like Simple Minds in the UK. I'm cool with that. I like that. The Cure, I sound like that when I'm on guitar. I'm cool with that. So anyway, 07 right now. That's the answer to that one. While we're waiting for the next question, I'm going to tell you this quickie. The reason I got back into drumming after I quit was my ex-wife, Karen, if you're out there listening, love you still sorry. But here's the thing. One day she saw me, I was depressed as hell, and she slipped this little piece of paper in front of me. And it said it was a drum contest, national drum contest. She goes, I think you should do this. I was like, whoa. I said, I had boxed everything away. And I was like, I'll get killed. She goes, yeah, but go do it. And you know what? They had like the top certain number, like top 50, we get a free snare drum. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'll go after the snare drum. I'll try to win the snare. So I unboxed the boxes, and that in itself was like an old girlfriend coming back. As I opened the boxes and the cases, you could smell the beer from the last show. And it was just like an amazing event. You could hear the crowd. It was so passionate. It sounds silly, but it was. I went down and looked at the drum set I'd have to play on, and God, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't played in 6 years, and I rehearsed in 2 weeks, and I got in the final top 50, got the snare drum, and then I made it to the final 6. And the next thing you know, I'm on reality TV in 2008, and it's Drum Your Way to Hollywood, and I won the whole damn thing. And the moment that was bigger than anything in my life for me on that show, and I bring it up, one of the producers for The Who was there. There was Bobby Winsky from the Beatles, who did part of the Beatles stuff, Us Festival, Boys II Men, ZZ Top, all those guys were there. Oh, wow. Sitting 6 feet in front of me in the finale. Yeah, plus some musicians like drummer Puddle of Mud. Moke was there. But anyways, he after Moke had just said, hey, you remind me of Gene Krupa, because the way I was going around the top on this drum solo, which was accurate because I just seen a documentary of Gene Krupa, and I did Jungle Fever. So he caught me on that. I did. But it was, God, what's his name? I'm going to forget his name right now. He's in my book. He stands up and he goes, you remind me of? You remind me of Keith Moon. I was like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? The guy who worked with Keith Moon. So it's huge. It was like I just bent down the nice sword when, you know, you are now a drummer. You know, it was like the biggest thing in my life.
Right.
It was
I
total
can imagine.
validation.
Yeah.
Absolute validation. I'll never forget that moment. So everybody's all about my world records, but that was actually a big thing for me personally because it was in front of everybody. It was by a dude that it wasn't just an anonymous person. That's huge. Right. So I love that. I have that clip. I'll have to share it sometime with you where he actually says it. Yeah, I've got the clip. He says it. They edited out my response where I was like going, "Oh my God, thank you." You know, so it makes it look like I'm kind of cocky. I was like, "Oh yeah, well, actually," you know, my edit was kind of weird on it, but other than that, whatever. All right, do we have anything up, or do I just keep rambling on what's next?
Well, I had a question for you. I know you've been practicing lately with a couple of guys that some of them I even know right here locally, and I understand you're going to do a couple of shows in July. Is it?
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about the first one because we had our first rehearsal this week, and I gotta say, I'm in the Central Coast area right now, and I went over to I was just in Slow, and we recorded in a little studio. That all the musicians are named musicians in this area. It's a super group for this level of area. It's a total super group, and I'm blessed that they asked me to come in. And they've got another guy who I'm also shocked is in it. There's a few of us. We are slated to play a smaller stage first, and then a bigger one. That Paso one is pretty big. The Poorhouse, since COVID, made this huge stage outside. It's massive. It's not your usual Poorhouse place. So that one's going to be something. But the guitarist is in another band. So the very first gig, we're not going to have this group. We have another guitar player standing in.
I see.
But after that, we will be full throttle. I have to say this about it. It's been a long time with the 2-year drop off. I did play with a band just recently up north, and that was great. To play with this caliber of musicians again, and to not feel like you're the best in the band, which is how I felt, which is a great thing. It's the thing my father once told me. He was an asshole guy, but he had smart things to say. He showed up at one of my shows. He goes, I had this killer show, and at the end I go, Dad, how do you think? I'm all excited. And you're like, you are with your dad, what do you think? And he was like, when you're not the best guy in the band, that'll be the band. Thanks, Dad. But anyway, but he's kind of right, because if you really want to be good, get with people that are better than you. You know, you don't want to be the best. If you're the best, you're not going to get any better. So challenge yourself, take chances, and get in with guys that scare the shit out of you. These guys are good. And I'm sitting there, and I realize that I'm sitting there going, I think I'm the weakest link. I'm like, I'm a hell of a weakest link. Can you imagine? I'm the weakest link. So it's going to be a good band, and I look forward to it.
Well, we've got an interesting question here from Michael Noland.
Oh fuck, Michael. Michael. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. That's an ugly one. That would have been on the rap sheet, Michael. Good job. Yeah, because what's on my rap sheet is usually you can't ask me a personal question about family or relationships or children. And it's good job on that. You've got my relationship in there. So I'm going to answer because I gave you my word. And I won't normally answer questions about drugs. But so now I put that out there. You people have like 24 minutes to try to shit me on that one. So here we go. First part of it, tours on the future. I could see myself touring one more time. But that particular tour will be very specific. It'll be a Lou Mars tour. I would like to go one more time out as the Lou Mars band, and it would be very important for me for it to be very, very good, because it would be a last hurrah, even at my level. And like George, I'm going to bring him into this again. We have fans, even though we're not top Billboard guys, we have fans that fill rooms, that follow us, and have followed us a long time. And that's just like him. He's very passionate, so I could really relate to him. I will tour one more time. I'm waiting for the right moment. I want to make sure the world is ready. And what I mean by that is I don't want to book a tour and be canceled again, or be told my band has to have medical vaccinations, or be told that if somebody has a higher temperature, that the entire act is canceled for 2 weeks. I can't work that way. I won't do that to my band and their families. We have to eat. Yeah. That's not fair. So when we can go out there and work like everybody else, and you let us entertain, and on the other side, the rates aren't raping everybody to go see us. The rates need to be reasonable. I understand you guys aren't making money out there right now, just like us. So I would hope the venue, we could work something out to where the rates are reasonable and you guys can come see me too. I'm going to answer about streaming before I do that, because Royce asked me about that. He said, can we stream your shows live? I'm not a dick about that, but here's why I am a dick about that. The reason I'm a dick about streaming live shows is because it rewards you guys for sitting on your ass at home. If you would get up and pay tickets to watch the shows instead of half the arena being empty, I would love to stream my shows live because I have a full house. But if I don't have a full house and you're sitting at home watching my show, I'm rewarding you for not coming to see me. And that would be kind of like me saying to you, hey, you're throwing a party at your house. Can you stream it live so I can hang out? It doesn't make sense, right? Come to the damn party, people. And then we'll give you some snippets and some tips of what you missed just to make you feel bad for not being there. That's what I want to do.
No, seriously, Lou, what you said made absolutely perfect sense.
It does. It's a business, folks. You know, we take the music for granted. Like I said, you're in the grocery market. You're even hearing the music for free in the background. You're not thinking about it. But we have to pay these musicians, these artists, for what they're doing. This hard work. And it shouldn't be discounted so much, you know. God, look at pro athletes, what they're paid. Are you kidding me? For playing with a ball. You know, so I'm sorry. It's not the same. So second part of your question, relationships. Yes, it's cost me dearly, Michael, on that question. It's very difficult, especially as a young man, to tour the United States, open a door at the end of the night, have 3 beautiful women each night outside the door waiting for you to exit, and between you and the bus are them. Try to maintain that shit for every single night after 6 months. You know what? If you did, you're superhuman. It's very hard, and I don't know how people do it today. Now, as you get older and you mature, you realize there's more to love than just a good-looking girl. There's a connection. There's a relationship. There's mental connection. So would that happen today? Hell no. I've already done everything possible on the road. I wouldn't do that again to a woman, and I would like to keep her this time. So, and by the way, my attorney back in the day, true story, was the Denver Nuggets attorney who took care of all of my lawsuits for kids that weren't mine. True story. Yeah. Love you, Jeffrey Klaus. Hope you're out there. Hey, they weren't my babies. Don't sue me. That was before they had DNA. They did blood test, and I was typo. So every girl that wanted to say it was your baby could simply write your name on a birth certificate, and you had to prove they were wrong. I'm not kidding you. And so as musicians with girls that would just be like, oh, I love him, he's mine. Half these girls I didn't sleep with. And I would get sued for child support in different states for women I didn't even know. So I had an attorney that would take care of just that. I'm not making that up. So God. That's, you know, and you know what? Half the time the shit would come in and my family's like, you need to stand up and take care of that. I'm like, I didn't even sleep with her dad or mom. No, fess up. Come on. I'm like, they would believe like, this girl's not lying. And I typo blood. So my attorney would say, you know, a dog could sleep with you, Lou, and they could prove it's yours with typo blood. Because the way you got out of it is they would have something in their blood that wasn't in either of ours. And that's how I was able to prove that shit. Yeah. Stuff you don't know about, bands have to deal with on the road, folks. There you go. You got the dirt. There's the dirt.
There's the dirt. I got to give I got to jump in the middle and give a couple of shout outs real quick.
Get some out there.
Everybody in the chat by now knows Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line. He's got a fantastic show. You guys got to check him out. I mean, his show has grown like no show I've ever seen before because he does such a damn good job on it. And every once in a while, he'll take a clip of our show and actually play it on his show. And we really appreciate that, Michael. You have no idea. And Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line, definitely check it out. And of course, Dan McNew here, Ask a Dan, and Just the Facts. And of course, LouMarsBooks.com. You can subscribe to Lou, and he's got his hardcover coming out in August. And Caitlin Stoddard, Caitlin's Corner. She's been coming on twice a week, and she's finally gone live now. And it's actually fun. I didn't see her Friday. I looked for you on Friday because I missed the live before, and I was jealous that some of my friends like Michael Nolan and I think it was you too, Dan, were in there making comments, and I was nowhere to be seen or found, and I felt really guilty about that. But anyway, but also, and I didn't get a chance to bring this up yet. A friend of all of ours on this show is Michael McVeigh, and Michael McVeigh's new band Blackbird Rain did their first gig last night, and I'm sure it was a success. I've seen some short clips of it on Facebook. So Blackbird Rain, Michael McVeigh, you can also subscribe to that. And we're expecting great things from Michael. He was in a great band opening for a lot of big acts before COVID hit, and that shut everything down, and everybody's starting over again in that industry. But
yeah,
anyway.
I think his first band actually played with Aska one time.
Did they really?
Yeah, down in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw a list of bands they opened for and stuff, and I was pretty impressed. Yeah. But anyway, so that's I guess that's it for the shout outs right now. But I definitely wanted to make sure I got Michael Nolan and Michael McVeigh and Kate and Lou and Dan all in there. So anyway, so let's get back to Lou Mars, man, myth, legend.
Oh.
Hey, I was just kidding, Lou. Come on back.
Probably readjusting his camera again.
Yeah, Michael, you're right. Blackbird Rain. It's a really cool name, and the actual logo with the blackbird on it and stuff is really really cool looking. Yeah. Check them out. I think they're going to do well. And Michael's the vocalist. He's got a great voice, and he had a website from his previous band that I've gone to, and so you get an idea what Michael's capable of. So anyway, check him out. He's kind of one of our favorite sons here.
Yeah, that band's definitely got a good sound.
Yeah.
Sounds real good.
Yeah.
Now, I also watched some of Caitlin's live stream the other night from the Brad Paisley concert.
No, I did too. Yeah. I watched some of that too. Yeah, I know. You've always got to be careful doing that kind of stuff. I mean, I filmed the entire concert of Alice Cooper and a bunch of the Ace Frehley songs too, but I didn't put it on YouTube. I posted it on Facebook. You're not going to get a strike or anything, copyright strike on Facebook. But
that I went to that Mickey Dolenz concert and I recorded the entire concert. I got it uploaded, and yeah, they got a few hits. I got to share the money with Mickey, I guess
right,
is what it is.
Right. Yeah, I played a bunch of albums and songs from albums and filmed them playing on my record player and stuff like that when I was kind of first starting, and every one of them had a copyright claim against it. And as my views and subscribers go up, I'll pick the one with the least amount of views and toss it out.
Like Lou was saying, when you live stream, to me, I don't have a problem with some of these bigger bands. Like there's a lot of pretty good tribute bands around here that are playing now and drawing thousands of people. Well, that's different than it is from a local band who doesn't have near as many followers. You don't want to live stream their show because the people will sit at home and just watch the live stream.
Well, I was asking Lou about that a couple of days ago when I found out he was going to be playing here locally. It's like, that's perfect. Go down and film it. But that's a really good point he made.
Yeah, and you don't really want to.
If I was running out filming every local band, people would just sit home and do what I'm doing, have a beer and watch it on the screen.
And if somebody does live stream, a local band, don't announce it ahead of time. Just you could do it on the spur of the moment, but if you announce it, you're encouraging people to just stay home and watch it instead of going to the show itself.
Right. That's right.
Here locally, we've been having a lot of shows. There's been a lot of shows here lately. I went to 2 last week, and I was supposed to go on to 2 this week, but it was 103 degrees and it was just too damn hot.
I made it back.
There's a ton of shows out there right now. It's like Lou was saying. It's just like everybody's been at home for the last few years because of COVID, and now we don't know when it's coming back again. If we're going to get hit with another bad strain, and some of the restrictions are going to come back. So everybody is out there touring. Everybody.
Well, I heard you talking about the live shows, and here's the thing. So I want to respond to the streaming thing. So I will do a streaming show. I've thought about that. I'm getting a lot of requests because here's why. I'll be devil's advocate for the other side of why it's a good thing. For the people that are in different areas of the world, I'm not going to be a dude that's going to go on a world tour. Can't afford. I can't even do a U.S. tour right now because the gas prices are ridiculous, right? I can't. So part of the reason, Michael Nolan, you're like, hey Lou, you're going to go on the road? Not at $7 a gallon, my friend. That's
Right.
what it is in Cali right now. Even across the nation, $4 or $5. Go ahead. You take a tour bus like that. That's insane. But here's what I will do. If I do stream a show live, I will set it to be just a streaming show. There will be a staged crowd. A handful of people will be selected to be in the crowd. You will pay a small fee to watch it. Now, if you really want to watch me play and you want to be part of that show in a VIP, part of the reason that's a good thing for you.
Hey, Lou, I think we're losing you again.
Oh, no.
So, Dan, how do you like those Rams?
Those what?
Rams.
Rams.
It's just a joke.
Oh, well.
You remember that? What was it? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
anyway,
That was after the pillow incident.
the pillow.
Those weren't
That's right.
pillows.
Yeah. Then they had to go into a macho routine. So anyway,
Well, like I was saying, we've been having a lot of local shows here, and this past week, I had a chance I had free tickets too. The last couple of shows. Last night it was the Crooligans, which is the Motley Crue tribute band, and let's see, there was another one. Oh, I can't remember the opening act, but I got tickets to see Killer Queen, another tribute band.
Okay.
And Killer Queen is really, really good. I mean, they put on. I mean, for a tribute band, they do pretty good. So that's not until July and it's in a covered area this time. I until the fall, I'm not going to an outdoor concert again. It's just too damn hot.
It's hot. It's really hot here. I got to go to work in the morning. It's going to be 103 outside tomorrow. And I gotta start tearing apart some stuff that caught on fire and rebuilding it.
We actually had a cold front come through today, a summer cold front. It's supposed to be in the upper 80s, maybe 90 tomorrow. So that's about 13 degrees cooler than what it has been.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I grew up in Henderson, Nevada, just outside of Vegas. And when you got in your car and by the time you got to the end of the street, your back was wet.
Yeah.
Back in the day, a lot of the cars that especially the teenagers didn't have air conditioning or anything like that. You had your black Tijuana upholstery and your 55 Chevy.
I'm old enough to remember back in the day where cars up north, maybe they still do it. The cars up north didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
The cars down south did. You could always tell where a car came from by seeing if it had AC or not in it.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's the same with houses here. I'm in Atascadero, about 11 miles from the ocean, sit up in the hills, get a little bit of a microclimate, cools off a little bit because of the breeze from the ocean. But when you get downtown, I mean, it's like a 10-degree change. And it's still hot up here. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's cool. It's not, you don't feel like you're at the beach or anything. But it's much cooler than downtown and further north up 101 to Paso Robles and places like that. We can sometimes see a 15-degree difference, just monitoring the thermometer in the car between 10 miles away and then our house. And the temperature drops so much. But I was so used to that Nevada weather that I never thought it was hot here until the last few years, and it's hot here.
Are y'all going through a drought up there?
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, we're going through a bad drought. And, of course, a lot of the places are shutting down building too, like Los Osos. It took them forever to get their sewer treatment plant in because all these really small lots, some of them as small as 25 foot wide, they all had leach fields, septic systems and leach fields, and they were all leaching into the water supply. The nitrate level was way high. So they quit letting people put them in. Finally, after about 15 years, they got a sewer treatment plant in, which was going to open construction back up, and everybody was excited. Then they found out the drought had depleted the water table so bad that salt water was intruding into the drinking water now. And now they're not going to issue any. Now they're not going to issue any water meters, regardless of the sewer situation. So that Los Osos is completely shut down.
Julia says that cold front's coming through for her tomorrow. She's further south of me. She's in Waco, Texas, just south of me, about an hour and a half. It's a slow moving front, but I'll take any relief we can get. Also, Michael Nolan had a comment too about streaming.
Oh yeah, what did Michael say?
Yeah, bring that up.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, streaming is the future, guys. It's the great equalizer for smaller, less known bands and record A&R guys. No record contracts, just you and stream of followers.
Well, that's right, Michael. And there are a bunch of other little places. Like,
Holy cow!
Reverb Nation and some different places that will play songs and have a ranking of the best songs. I know my brother and my nephew, his son, were in a bunch of those and doing really well.
I'm going to disagree with Michael on that statement I just saw. I don't think it's the future. I think it's the end. I think that there's nothing that replaces a live band at all ever. The streaming to me is it's about as fun as watching a record player spin on a stage. It's just not the same thing. Or like watching a DJ. It's not the same thing.
It's a byproduct.
There you go. There's a place for it, no doubt. But I got to tell you what, if it was so awesome during COVID, we would have jumped on it a lot more. And we didn't because it was boring and it sucked. Well, you got to have a live band.
Here locally, one of our big venues here, what they did, they still hired bands. They live streamed it. Okay. And then they would, out in the parking lot, they put up the giant screens and people would pull up and park in the parking lot. And there'd be a space between each car.
Theater.
And the people would, the waiters and the waitresses would come out with their mask on and everything and take your order from the car, go inside and cook it, bring it out while you could watch the big screen of the live show that's going on inside the venue.
Well, that's kind of what you do at some of these shows now. The stadium shows, you're watching the screen more than you're watching the dot on the stage.
I know. I've been to several like that.
Yeah, but for
anything.
But for smaller bands, for the in-between bands, there's no money there. And here's the other thing. When you stream, and this is where I got cut myself off with my damn hotspot's low. My apology, people. And I had people texting me while I'm doing it. People, why are you texting me when I'm off? Do you realize that if I'm off, I can't answer you as well? I love it. My phone's blowing up. You're off. No shit. So anyways, so here's the thing. There's a big difference, and you've seen this even on music videos and live videos. On the professional side, folks, setting up a show so that you can see it on film versus a crowd right there, that alone. There's a lot more lights going on. There's a famous meltdown by Billy Joel in Russia when the lights keep coming on because they're trying to televise him in Russia, and he flips his piano because he's like, turn the fucking lights down. He's trying to do a show. It's night and day. When you do TV, and I've been on TV, you got white lights in your face the whole time. When you're doing a regular show, it's dark out there and the lighting is much more dramatic. You can be a lot more risky. The cameras can't pick that up. That's just the lighting. Now, we have audio. These cameras, these little things, these devices that you think are so great you're spending $1,000 on, they suck. They can't pick up what a Sennheiser mic can or Pro mics. There's a reason it's thousands and thousands of dollars to record a live show properly out of a mixer board. So there's the other thing. If we're playing live, there's a big difference on the velocity of volume we're going to push for a big room on long throw systems or to your phone. So to try to do both at the same time, you got to give somewhere. Someone's going to suck, and it's going to be your phone. Now, if we set up a show just for that, that's different. We're in a room. You stage a crowd so there's at least some energy in the room. I got to tell you, it's hard to play in a room with nobody there. I was on, remember that show? I was Dionne Warwick's Star Search. I was actually on that damn show. And there's no crowd. It was pumped in music, and you got to act like you're all excited. It's not easy. So that's the other thing that this streaming shit will not replace. You can't, I can't see you. I can't hear you. When you guys scream, man, that fires me up. I'm going to play that much harder. Those people in Portugal, when I was doing the world record, I broke my wrist on day 2 and I kept playing. They came out and put on my shirt with my name on it, an American flag, and stood in front of me in broken Portuguese yelling, "Born in the USA." You know, if you don't think that flipped my noodle like a motherfucker,
that's
right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking am I going to keep playing with this broken wrist? Damn right I am. Now, if those people weren't in front of me, do you think I would have? Hell no. I mean, like, I'm hurt. I'm out of here. You know? No, there's a big difference. I feel you people, but I can't feel you through the screen. The people watching right now, other than I can see Dan and Royce. I don't feel you right now. I don't know how many are watching me. It doesn't excite me as much. But if you were in my face right now, it'd be a totally different game. That's a fact.
No.
That's the way it is. And unless you're on stage, you don't know that.
That's like a couple of weeks ago. Well, last week when I was at the Aska show. Okay, you can watch live stream, and I don't care how good a setup you have at home with your Bluetooth or whatever, you're not going to get the same sound. I mean, we're standing there, and there's a curtain above the bass speakers down low, and they're just like looks like a fan is blowing them.
Are you feeling your chest? Remember that? You get up there, yeah.
And you just can't experience that through the live streaming. When you can actually feel it thumping your chest.
After I got on my motorcycle accident, and I got hit head on, 95-mile-per-hour impact. I was told I'd never walk again. It was on my Harley, beautiful Harley.
Oh, yeah.
And I was told I'd never walk again. I'd never play again for certain. I lost all kinds of shit. That was just 2011, folks. I'm walking, I'm playing again. It's in my book. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, though. The reason I bring that up right now, people say, why did you get back on the bike? Why are you riding again? Because here's why, folks. The thumping of that motor, that diggity, 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 and that feeling is very similar to being on a drum riser about 10,000 watts shooting on you. It's a wonderful feeling. If you want to feel like what it's like to be a drummer in a big stadium with a lot of wattage, get on a Harley and go up the coast. And it's just like, you'll see why I'm smiling on stage. I'm just like, yes, that diggity, that. It's just like riding a Harley. The only thing, I need a crowd.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like riding a Harley. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You said you had a bad accident. Well, a few years ago, I was building a house out in the middle of nowhere, Pozo, Park Hill Road, way behind Pozo, the Pozo Saloon. Anyway, so I thought, this is great. It's a beautiful ride out here. About once a week, I'd see it. One of the 6 elk herds would be crossing the road and stuff. And so this is great. I'm just going to take my tool trailer out here, park it, lock it up good, ride my Harley to work every day. It's going to be wonderful. So the very first day I did it, a deer leaped off the hill right in front of me, and I had time to do nothing but grab the brakes and brace myself. I smacked that deer. $5,000 worth of damage to my bike.
Damn.
It never went down. But I tell you what, I hit deer in my cars and stuff, because there's a lot of deer around here. We've all hit them.
Yes, there is.
Between me and my wife, we probably hit 3 or 4. And you know what? They all got up and ran off the road. I hit this one on my bike. It never got up. It died where it hit. But anyway.
Wow. Well, I credit the Harley Davidson that I had for saving part of my life, because that bike was between me and the head-on. And it was a solid bike. I broke my body, but it could have been a lot worse. Oh, yeah. So, you get back on, you get back on the horse and you ride if that's what you love to do. I wouldn't stop walking in a crosswalk because I got hit, by a car. Right. Hey, are you ever going to walk again? Well, I would hope so. So, think of it that way. But anyways, I just want to sum up for the people. I'm getting people going, hey, I watched you. People, I came back on. Sorry, I lost some of you because I went off. But I just want to say the book, LumarsBooks.com. Check it out. It's an inspirational story. Absolutely. It's like the Rocky of drumming. There's incredible highs and incredible losses. Here's what I'm going to say in short about the book. Being an American drummer, #1 marathon drummer in America versus the other countries. The other 5 top countries. It's America. I'm the only one that's been validated over 100 in America. And Canada is another. And then there's Australia, Indonesia, and Portugal. And here's the thing. When the gentleman in Indonesia came in with a record, or came back from the Portugal one, he got a ticker tape parade in his country. America, in order to be top dog here, you can't have a gold medal. You got to have 7 gold medals. You got to, right? A silver and a bronze, you're a loser. If you go to the Super Bowl and you finish second here, you're a loser. You were the champion all year, but you're a loser here. So in the other countries, it's not like that. So power drumming is a big thing over there. Over there, they clear tables when I walk in a room. Here, they don't remember my name at Starbucks. It's an amazing, humbling thing to have. Now, this book is about that. And this book talks about how you can be on the top of your game 1 second and on the bottom the next. It's just, that's life. I think people will relate to it. I think we're all underdogs, and I think more people can connect with somebody who's trying to win and comes close than the guy with 7 medals. And that's what this book's for you. If that's who you are and you need a little push, you might want to check it out because it's good for that. I'll leave it at that.
It's outstanding, Lou. Thank you very much. Taking this.
Thank you guys. And I know we're on our clock, and I'm
Right.
sorry I bumped off there my darn hot spot because I was at a show earlier.
No,
Taking video. That's what I get.
I've been having all kinds of computer problems today. I even got a hold of Dan and said, I'm going to send you a link. It says my mic's not working again, but it was working, but it doesn't show that before you come on the live stream.
My cable's not charging.
Thank you very much. Thank everybody. And I just want to say to everybody listening that, we're trying to get keep the show entertaining for everybody. We had a fantastic guest tonight, multi-instrumentalist, author, all kinds of awards. You were nominated for a Grammy, musical video Grammy.
Sharon Marie's,
Lou's done it all, and he's still going at it. And last week, George Call, he was a great guest from the band Aska, Friends of Dan.
Yes.
Dan was kind of a promoter for that band and the 5th member. So we're going to continue to try to bring you great shows. We want to entertain you. We want you to come back. We want you to want to be here. And that's what it's all about for us. We want you to be here, and we want you to want to be here and feel bad if you miss. But the good thing about even if you did miss once in a while, the shows are all available all the time. Anyway, so thank you very much. And that's what's going on in Royce's world today.
Thank you guys.
And good night, Dan and Lou, and good night, everybody in the chat. We love you guys. Chat.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone, I'll remember you all in therapy.
Fucking Dan.